Welcome to today's video. Tu Tien's father-in-law suddenly appears after many years, turning everything upside down. Will this mysterious appearance make Jack suspect her true identity? Let's follow the dramatic developments in the video to discover the hidden truth. After many days of heavy rain, the sky finally cleared up. The ash-gray clouds gradually dissipated, revealing a vast blue sky, radiant with the morning sunlight after a long rain. The air was cool and gentle, with the scent of the fields, the smell of grass and wet soil blending into a familiar, dear scent. Tu Tien stepped out of the house with a bright smile. On her back was a light pink basket, a familiar item that had accompanied her throughout many seasons. The basket was made of flexible plastic, decorated with a few small branches of cotton flowers, standing out against the green scenery of the village fields. She followed the small path winding around the edge of the field. On both sides were wild grass still wet with rain. Occasionally a few drops of dew from the grass leaves fell on her feet. Cool. The cornfield appeared before her eyes like a lush green carpet, stretching endlessly under the bright sunlight of the early morning. The corn plants were even more lush after the cool rain, the young corn cobs protruding from the leaf sheaths, plump and shiny, the corn silk shimmering in light brown, fragrant with the milky scent of young corn. Tu Tien nimbly waded between the rows of corn, one hand parting the leaf sheaths, the other hand skillfully breaking each ear. Every time she heard a soft, rut sound, she smiled with satisfaction, gently putting the corn cobs into the basket. The basket got heavier and heavier, filled with smooth, even young corn cobs like gifts from heaven and earth after the rain. When the basket was full, Tu Tien took a deep breath, then turned back to the village road leading to the market. Today's market was crowded, buyers and sellers were bustling. The cries of wares mixed with the cheerful laughter, creating a bustling atmosphere full of life. The stalls were crowded together under simple canvas roofs, some selling vegetables, some selling fish, some selling fabrics. The fragrant smell of breakfast spread everywhere. Tu Tien found a familiar corner, spread a small cloth on the ground and began to display each young corn in front of her. Her corn was clean, young, and beautiful, making everyone passing by turn to look. There was no need to shout loudly, just with a bright smile, bright eyes and a gentle greeting. Young corn here. Very sweet, uncle. Tu Tien sold her first corn. She sold each ear, not in a hurry. Each time someone bought, she smiled and thanked them, her face as radiant as the morning sun. In the bustling scene of the market after the rain, the image of Tu Tien, a little girl with a pink basket and young corn, appears so simple and warm, like a peaceful piece of the countryside amidst today's busy life. After a bustling market day, Tu Tien walked slowly on the road back to the village. The pink basket on her back was now light, only a few corn cobs left after the quiet morning sale. She was walking when suddenly, at the abandoned house by the roadside, she saw a familiar figure sitting hunched over, his back slightly bent, an old backpack on his back. Tu Tien stopped. Even though the years and wind and dust had left their marks on that person's face, she still recognized it immediately. It was Mr. Tu, her ex-father-in-law. The man who used to be serious, the pillar of the family, now looked so haggard that it was heartbreaking. He wore a faded shirt, a pair of broken sandals, and his eyes were sad and tired. Tu Tien walked closer, calling softly, "Uncle Tu, is that you?" The man looked up, his eyes slightly surprised, then recognized her. He smiled faintly. "Yes, that Tien? I didn't expect to see you here." She sat down next to him, put the basket on the ground, her eyes full of sympathy. "How have you been living lately? Are you well?" Mr. Tu sighed, looked into the distance, his voice hoarse. "Living is called living, but it's not any good anymore. My child, Dung, he's fallen into depravity. Since the day you left him, I thought he would wake up, but I didn't expect him to sink deeper. He followed gangsters, played around, got into debt, then sold all the houses, fields and gardens. He also sold the bed I've been lying on for decades. Now I have nowhere to go. I just wander from place to place, giving food to those who love me, chasing away those who hate me." Hearing that, Tu Tien's heart suddenly ached. Although there was nothing left to regret about Dung's past, Mr. Tu, The father-in-law who once cared for her like his own son, was still someone she could not ignore. She quietly bent down, opened her pocket, and took out a few bills left from the day. It wasn't much, just enough to buy a few meals. But she still handed them to him, softly. Take this. Buy something to eat to ease your hunger. It's almost dark. Find a cool place to rest and ease your fatigue. If you need something, come to my house. Even though you're poor, I won't let you sleep on the street. Mr. Tu looked at her, his eyes filled with tears, his hands trembling as he took the money. He didn't say anything more, just nodded slightly, as if containing all his emotion and gratitude. Under the fading sunlight, amidst the peaceful countryside, the image of two people sitting under a tree, one who used to be a father, one who used to be a son, now reunited in a harsh situation, still retaining a bit of warm human affection for each other, like a small flame smoldering in the dusty wind of life. When Tu Tien and Uncle Tu were still sitting under the old oil tree, their sad voices seemed to melt into the gentle afternoon breeze. The pale yellow sunlight at the end of the day shone down, casting long shadows on the ground. Uncle Tu was still telling his life story, while Tu Tien listened silently, her eyes slightly sad. Suddenly, from afar, the sound of a car engine echoed on the deserted village road. A silver pickup truck was slowly approaching, a thin layer of dust rising behind the wheels. The driver inside glanced at the curb, then suddenly braked. The car stopped, then backed up slightly towards the tree where Tu Tien was sitting. The car door opened, and a man stepped out. It was Jack, in a white shirt and jeans. He still looked dusty but polite. Seeing Tu Tien, Jack's eyes were slightly surprised, then quickly softened into a warm smile. Tu Tien? Is it really you? I thought I was mistaken. After a moment of shock, Jack bowed politely. Hello, I'm Tu Tien's friend. Uncle Tu nodded slightly, his old eyes still shining with suspicion. Tu Tien stood up, lightly brushed the dust off her shirt, then turned to Uncle Tu, her voice gentle. Stay strong, I'm going home. She bowed, then got into the car with Jack. The car slowly rolled away, leaving behind Uncle Tu's lonely figure in the falling sunset, while Jack glanced at Tu Tien with eyes full of wonder and concern. Tu Tien was also silent, not knowing what to say. Suddenly, Jack said, why don't we go over and see if Mrs. Gossip has fully recovered and then see if she has anything we can help with? Tu Tien nodded. The silver pickup truck stopped gently in front of Mrs. Tam's house, a small house with a red-tiled roof located in the middle of a lush green garden. As soon as Jack stopped the car, Tu Tien quickly got out. She looked around the yard, where the marigold bushes had bloomed bright yellow after the long rain. The wooden door opened slightly, and as soon as Tu Tien and Jack entered, she happily shouted, Mrs. Tam, are you feeling better now? Mrs. Tam was sitting on her familiar bamboo chair, her hair neatly tied behind her head, her gentle eyes looking up. Although her face was still a bit tired, it was much rosier than a few days ago when she was still bedridden. She smiled affectionately. Oh, I'm much better, my child, thanks to the kids who came to take care of me the other day. I've been able to get through this. Hearing that, Tu Tien breathed a sigh of relief, took down her basket and placed it right next to the door. Jack politely bowed to Mrs. Tam, then walked into the house with Tu Tien. They sat around the old table in the small kitchen, where the smell of boiled corn was still fragrant. In Tu Tien's basket, there were still a few young corn ears left over from the market. She quickly placed them on a plate, peeled off the husks, and the hot smoke rose, spreading the sweet aroma of corn throughout the small house. The three of them ate corn and chatted animatedly. While chewing, Jack asked, Mrs. Tam, do you feel better now? Do you need us to take you to the doctor? Mrs. Tam smiled gently. I'm fine, my child. I'm old, so I have to take my illness slowly. But I'm much better now. I only have a little joint pain left. Being able to sit like this is a blessing. Tu Tien was delighted when she heard that, then tilted her head and asked, So, have you had any heavy work these past few days? Let me help you. Mrs. Tam looked out into the back garden and sighed. I haven't even cut grass for the cow yet. It's only been eating dry straw these past few days. I feel so sorry for it. Without waiting for her to finish her sentence, Tu Tien stood up, her eyes shining with enthusiasm. Let me cut it for you. You should rest. Jack also stood up and smiled lightly. Then let me go help. Why should I let Tien do it alone? In the garden behind Mrs. Tam's house, the late afternoon sunlight gently shone through the leaves. creating a strangely peaceful picture. The bundles of green grass were neatly stacked, and Jack was still bending over to cut the last part. Tu Tien sat beside her, her hands quickly tying the grass with string, but her eyes were quiet, as if she was thinking about something very deeply. After a while, she stopped her hand slightly, looked up at Jack, her voice as light as a breeze. "Jack, I have something to tell you." Jack raised his head to look at her. Seeing her serious expression, he put down his sickle and walked closer. Tu Tien patted the nearby rock. "Sit down here." When the two were sitting next to each other, Tu Tien pondered for a moment before speaking. Her voice was a little emotional, but still gentle and leisurely. "Just now you saw the old man I was talking to, actually. He is my ex-father-in-law." Jack was slightly surprised, but did not interrupt. He listened attentively, while Tu Tien looked into the distance, as if reliving the old days. "When I was still at my husband's house, things were not easy. My husband, Deng, was grumpy, a playboy, and did not know how to take care of the family. My mother-in-law always hated me openly. I used to feel very lonely and humiliated, but only Uncle Tu was the only one who treated me well." Her voice was quiet, as if lost in memories. "Once I went to work in the fields and my shirt was torn. But I didn't dare tell anyone. But Uncle Tu found out. Secretly gave me some money and said, 'Go buy a shirt to wear. Don't get cold.' When I had a fever and was lying down, no one in the family asked about me. Only Uncle Tu was the one who cooked porridge and brought it to my bed." Tu Tien gently brushed away the grass that stuck to her skirt, her eyes downcast. "Although he is no longer my father-in-law, I used to live with him. I used to receive his kindness, so today, seeing him again in that situation, without a house, without anyone by my side, I feel sad and heartbroken." Jack gently took Tu Tien's hand. His hand was warm and steady. He looked at her with a sympathetic gaze. "You don't need to think too much, Tien. Just do what makes you feel most comfortable. What feels right for you. I will always be by your side." Tu Tien looked into Jack's eyes. Her heart suddenly warmed. In that peaceful afternoon, amidst the scent of fresh grass and the gentleness in Jack's voice, she felt there was a place she could lean on, not with flowery words, but with the most sincere sharing of someone who always silently accompanied her.